Welcome to the Middle-Raged Podcast, where your hosts, Adam and Keith, get a bit cross about stuff that really doesn't matter. Bless them. Oh, and we should probably warn you that things can be a bit sweary at times.
Hello and welcome to episode 25 of the Middle-Raged Podcast with me, Adam Eccles, and my co-host, Keith A. Pearson. Good morning.
Good morning on this momentous day, I'm going to say.
25 episodes, would you believe?
Yeah.
They said it couldn't be done, or was it shouldn't be done? I don't
Probably
know.
shouldn't, I'm going to guess.
Yeah, but I thought I'd play this little... There you go.
That sounded about the same number of people who listened, to be fair.
Yeah. That's all our listeners cheering us with for 25 episodes. So thank you for listening and keeping us, I suppose, in business for 25 episodes.
And I would say, actually, that the last episode, I probably should have researched this slightly better because I can't remember what it was about. Can you? No, okay.
Something. It was about something.
It was. See how much research we put into these these episodes.
Brain is wiped. It's your call is not important to us.
Of course it was. Yeah. That was the most downloaded episode of all the episodes we recorded within the first sort of 7 days. Don't ask us why this stat is important, but it was by some margin. So really we've set a bar now, haven't we? And we've got to keep that up. So hopefully you're not already on the verge of tuning out from this
no, of course
this
not.
episode.
Indeed, but people seem to like it, so we'll keep doing it, right? So that's how it works. So good stuff. On that note, we should mention that we've got a survey now. We are aware of the irony because we have previously moaned about companies asking for surveys. I suppose this is different because we're not a company, and
we're not asking after every fucking episode or every delivery. How was your delivery?
Yeah,
Same as the last one, right?
Yeah. The guy left the package outside and walked away. What is there to review? But here we've got some structured questions. It won't take more than a couple of minutes, if that. It'll help us to hone the pod in the way that people want us to go, right? So it's at middlerage.uk/listener-feedback. And
I'll put a link in the show notes, as they say.
Right.
And we'll also repost it. We did put it on X and Facebook, but so we'll redo that. And I think it's really important because at the moment we thank you to everyone that has filled it out so far. But we don't have enough people submissions to really garner any meaningful data, because one person voting one way or the other, or two people, can sway everything. And we need the more people that fill that in, the better the honing process will be.
Indeed.
He says.
Indeed.
With no great conviction.
Well, we can see how many people filled it in, and we can see how many people listen, and those two numbers are vastly different, right? So that means that lots of people haven't done it. So if you're listening to this and you've got a minute and you want to use the opportunity to feedback and tell us what we're doing right or what we're doing wrong, then go for it. We won't probably ask again for a while afterwards. So,
And it's all anonymous as well, so you don't have to worry about being... actually, now I've said that, we're going to get people just sort of saying, fuck off.
Yeah, well, there's no point in being an arsehole because we'll just delete that one, right? But
true.
Yeah. But there you go. Middle-Raged UK listener-feedback. And fill it in with your thoughts.
Perfect.
Good. So did you have... is it Happy Eurovision?
No, it wasn't a happy Eurovision. We should probably explain to people beyond these shores what the fuck Eurovision is.
To me, even though I've never
So this started,
it.
the Eurovision, the activity's full name is the Eurovision Song Contest, and it started, I think, in the early 70s. May have been, I think it was black and white, so maybe even the late 60s. Wow. And essentially, it's every country in Europe submits a song in a competition format, and they all play out on the evening, and then all the countries get to vote, and then one song wins. And I think this is how ABBA came to be.
Oh, yeah.
Because they won in the mid-70s with Waterloo.
Right.
Yeah. So but over the last maybe decade, it went in the 90s, it really fell out of fashion. But growing up in the 70s, it was an annual highlight in our house. My mum used to sort of put out a buffet and
oh wow,
all the family would gather around. I mean, there was fuck all else to do back then, bear in mind. So it was a real thing, and it was an evening that we were allowed to stay up late and
right.
Yeah, so for us it was like it was a second Christmas almost. Sausages on sticks and
the whole shebang. Wow.
Yeah, she really pushed the boat out, and it kind of just become a tradition. And it's nowadays it's the whole thing is very politicized. But so it wasn't.
Yes.
All I can say is the
Norway
rest of Europe
for Sweden, and
basically all I've learned from last night's is that most of Europe doesn't like us. We got there's two elements to the voting. There's like a panel vote. Each country does a panel vote, and then you have like a public vote from each country.
Yes. Okay, people texting or whatever.
Yeah, so they do the public vote second, and that's the bit where all the jeopardy comes in because all the scoreboard changes and countries zoom up and down.
Right.
And it got to the UK, and it was like you received 0 votes.
No way.
Seriously.
No way.
Yeah. Oh,
harsh.
And I'm going to say now, right? Ukraine, come on, lads. Jesus Christ, how much money have we given you? You couldn't even give us some votes.
Come on. A couple of votes, right?
Yeah, just a few. So that ruined the whole thing for me, really, and I kind of lost interest at that point. I was just so annoyed and angry by the whole thing.
In gin,
yeah, exactly. But not too much gin.
Fair enough. So we're happy to report that Keith is sober and alive this morning.
I am, fighting fit.
Good stuff.
Right.
Well, fair enough. So I think the Eurovision sort of brings in the summer, doesn't it? It's sort of that's the start. It's always in May, and it feels like after Eurovision, that's when the summer starts. I don't watch it, by the way, but pop. If they had like a heavy metal Eurovision, maybe I'd watch that.
There was a heavy metal band that won it.
Really?
Yeah, it was
no
called
way.
Hard Rock Hallelujah. I think it was one of the Nordic countries, maybe Finland.
Yeah, we see that. That's all they produce in
But no, they won it. I can't remember. It was within the last 10 years, I think.
Very good.
And they all wore these sort of rather grisly outfits. But interesting.
Yeah, good.
So there you go. Maybe you should get into it.
Maybe. Okay. Good stuff. So I thought we'd have, speaking of summer, everyone goes on holiday, right? Or some people do. I don't. But because I hate the fucking sun and heat and stuff like that. But,
and airplanes and people.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything involved in a holiday.
That's it, yeah. All of that stuff. But other people don't. So a lot of people take the opportunity in the summer to load up their Kindle and just spend some quality time on the beach or in a cafe or whatever it is you prefer, and read. And so I thought I'd ask, what are you reading this summer? It doesn't have to be our books, but, that won't hurt. Wouldn't hurt if you downloaded all of them. You probably already read them all already. So, but, you could still tell your friends. But anyway, what are you reading? Let us know. And if it's something interesting, maybe we'll mention you or something, right? So what's good? And you know what? If it's got this summer's gripping whatever title stuffing bollocks, don't tell us about those ones because I don't care. I looked at the on my Kindle on the Prime selection.
Yes.
The other day, and I hadn't for a while, and every single title had, heaps of that. This summer's bollocky, wanky.
The book they'll be talking about this summer, and this summer's newest sensation or whatever it is.
All of that crap. Yeah.
Hyperbole.
And every single one of them had the same sort of crap at the end of it. And just like, does that really work? Does anyone read that and think, oh, well, I better get that then, if it's this summer's thing? Like that, it's not very easy to change the title of a book on Amazon. So is that, is that from 5 summers ago?
Do you know, there's 3 things that put me off a book, okay, right off the bat. That is definitely one of them, right? I will just discount that book immediately.
Yeah.
Because you're telling me what I should be thinking. Right. And it goes on to this with a twist that you won't see coming. Well, I will now because you fucking told me.
Exactly.
So I'm going to be looking for it. That's ridiculous.
Hate that.
The second thing is when you go to look at the blurb, right? So you think, okay, it's called X. I like the look of the cover. It's in a genre I like. So you then go and read the blurb, the Amazon description.
Yeah.
And rather than telling you what the book is about, like an outline of the plot, synopsis, it's just got a list of reviews.
Yeah.
So-and-so, and they're normally like B, C-list celebrities.
They've dug up,
And they're not reviews, are they? They're just people who've, generally got in the same publisher.
Yeah.
I don't care what they think. What's the fucking book about?
There was one book that I was looking at, and they literally wouldn't tell me what it was about because it was all full of that crap. And I'm just like, well, how do I know? Like, it wasn't obvious from the title or the cover, and you're just not going to tell me. So I'm not going to
read it. Yeah. The stupidity of these people beggars.
It is a weird phenomenon, isn't it? I mean, you wonder, like, does this actually work? Because they all do it, like, and it's all the big publishers, it's not indie stuff like that. It's weird.
I can't understand. Would you buy any other product on that basis?
Yeah, no.
I mean, you need to know what the fucking thing is about. I mean, you just, you can't just walk into a supermarket and somebody shoves something in your face and go, here, buy this. So-and-so thinks it's amazing, 5 stars. You're like, well, what the fuck does it do? Does it clean my underwear? Does it keep my hair soft? Does it aid indigestion? Fucking tell me.
Yeah, it is weird.
The third one I will add, right? And I picked up a book a couple of weeks back, and this was a trad published, like mainstream publishing house.
Right.
Within the first 3 chapters, the author had used parenthesis, brackets. I think probably 12, 14 times.
Oh, no. That's a no-no.
That pisses me off.
Yeah.
I can't read a book. I'd never use it, right?
No,
okay, because for me, it breaks the spell.
It breaks it, yeah.
Why do you need to do it so frequently? It's such a clunky mechanism for getting information and unnecessary.
Yeah.
Why are they doing this so frequently?
It is a weird one, isn't it? I mean, I feel like if you've got something to say it. You don't need to have an aside. Just there was an people are going to hate me now, but Terry Pratchett always had footnotes, and that really pissed me off. Like you because it's not even, it's an aside, but it's not even there. You have to go looking for it. So what are you going to flip through a load of pages, try and find it, read it, and then flip back to where you were? Like, no.
I write with a basic premise that I have 2 things to do. Okay, provide escapism, and entertainment.
Right.
And anything that detracts from either of those, it doesn't go in, right, as far as I'm concerned. And parentheses they are a distraction, an annoyance, which kind of ties into this. And there was one of them, it's like, I think it was something along the lines of, I was eating an apple, and then in brackets, I tried pears briefly, but they weren't for me. You're like, what the fucking hell is that? Why? What does that bring to the reader?
That is weird.
But there were loads, and they were of a similar vein. That superfluous information that didn't propel the story forward. Maybe the author thought she was being cute and amusing. But no, you can be cute and amusing, but just put it use it in dialogue or whatever. Yeah, don't stick it in there like an afterthought. It just
maybe to boost the word count or something. I don't know.
I'm wondering if it's a trend. Maybe.
Yeah, you don't see it too often. Well, I don't at the moment, but maybe it's becoming a thing.
Anyway, I binned that book after that. So
good idea.
Yeah, that was enough for me. So there you go.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. So yeah, if you are reading something interesting and it doesn't do all of those things that piss us off, then let us know.
We'll stick a post on the socials, so people can put what they're reading.
And maybe you might tell us what does piss you off about a book or books in general.
Yeah,
and we'll try and avoid doing that. Try and avoid it. Good stuff. All right, well, that's our intro. Now we're going to do our catch-up. So we had a coffee bought for us.
That was a very, very short clap.
There you go. So thank you to Mr. Stephen Shields, who bought us a coffee. And he said, I have to say, this is the most entertaining podcast I've listened to. Keep up the good work. Fair play to you, Stephen. Thank you very much. And we agree, very much.
Stephen only listens to 2 other podcasts.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But hey, we'll take it.
Yeah, fair enough. Always good to know. So if you'd like to join Stephen in the ranks of the supporters of the pod, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/middleraged and then donate what you feel like you want to donate. And it goes towards the ongoing hosting and, general
And we
whatever.
won't have to do adverts for male sanitary products at any point. And no one wants that, do they?
Incontinence underwear or something.
Exactly, yeah. So, yeah.
Or,
basically, throw us a $5, otherwise they're coming down the tracks. We'll be talking about leakage and moist gussets and things like that.
Be a shame if something happened to your podcast.
Oh
dear. Anyway,
let's move on.
So we also had a couple of feedback points. So John on X has been a subscriber for mere days. Welcome to the pod, John. And you've done more for my anger management than taking therapies, talking therapies, and 2 years of citalopram. I never can pronounce medications, but fair play.
Do you think we could get the NHS to prescribe the pod?
That's a good idea. Yeah. Don't waste your money on drugs, because that's not going to work long term. And just vent by listening to the pod, and on your morning commute, shouting at the car stereo and saying yes, finally somebody agrees with me. That'll do it.
I think that's the thing. We should definitely propose that. And we're cheap. We're certainly cheaper than medication and therapy.
Better for your, general health, I reckon. Like those, don't
stick the pod on, go for a long walk, and you'll feel significantly better when you get back.
Guaranteed to take 5 years off your off your life expectancy. No, that went the wrong way, didn't it? Add 5 years. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
We should probably put a caveat in there somewhere, shouldn't we?
Yeah, yes. I suppose so.
Longevity is not guaranteed or implied.
Yeah. Happiness.
Or realistic.
Your sexual energy may be affected.
Okay.
Right. So speaking of that, David on X, I wore ill-fitting socks for many years. I mean, that's harsh in itself, right? Until I found size 12 to 13 and a half in an online search at Marks and Spencer's and bought a big bag full of them. I highly recommend when you find a product like a sock or a t-shirt or jeans or something, and you're like, yes, this fits my needs exactly. This is the Steve Jobs methodology as well.
Yeah,
he wore polo neck jumpers, right? And I think he bought like the whole factories full of, you don't have to do that. But I found a sock that I preferred, the bamboo ones, as previously mentioned. And yeah, I bought a boatload of them, and now I have an almost infinite supply of good socks. So
can I have a little side rant here, though? I absolutely wholeheartedly agree with you there. If you find a particular piece of clothing that fits, just buy it in fucking multiple colors and multiple, just whatever. Okay, just buy it. So I went to purchase some shorts because I'm going away on Tuesday, and I will have to wear shorts because where I'm going is rather hot.
Yeah.
I know this goes against all your principles, but I'm sorry. I would rather expose my legs than have. Do you get like sweat at the back of your knee pits? Yeah. Oh my God.
Unpleasant, but yeah.
Very which is why, I think the legs require ventilation. Anyway, so I went to Next.
All right.
And I tried on a pair of shorts and they fitted perfectly.
Right.
Okay. I then went back to the section and they had the same style. And I assumed that they would be, similar. All of the shorts would fit the same. So I bought a load of pairs, got them home. Did they fuck? Right. So I thought, I've got one pair that does fit really well. I will go and order online that exact pair. And I double checked and triple checked the code and everything else in 3 other colors. Okay. Problem solved. Went back to Next. And this is going to probably tie into our and got them. I thought, do I need to try them on? No, because they're exactly the same style. Got them home. 2 pairs, exactly the same. 3rd pair, if I'd have put on 30, 40 pounds, they still wouldn't have fitted. Like, what the fuck is going on here?
Same size, same style.
Size, same style. Everything was the same, but it just, oh my God, why can't they get this shit right?
That's
so back
ridiculous.
again, and
oh no.
And I mentioned it to the disinterested human behind the counter, and she just shrugged. It's like, well, what do you want me to do about it? Well, I don't know, feed it back to your manager or something.
Well,
anyway, so 3 trips to Next just to buy some shorts.
You see, should have just stuck with jeans.
Yeah, there we go. But it's the same principle with jeans, though, isn't it? I've had that in the past where I bought jeans and then bought the same style, different colours, tried them on. Why the fuck do these fit differently? Why?
That is weird. What's the colour got to do with the fit? Like, surely they're made on a machine, and the machine just spits out. It just feed in a different colour fabric, and it spits out the same thing.
Maybe they're made in a different factory, a different production line. There's got to be some variable that's coming into play here, because this is a common thing. Or is it? Or is it just am I really unlucky?
I mean, I only buy stuff in black, so I don't have any. I don't know. But yeah, ill-fitting socks though is like, I've had socks that look like they should be good and then aren't, for some, like they fall down or they're too tight or something, but they look very similar to other socks that are good. So yeah, it's
I don't know if you find this, and this again annoys me. They talk about the size of the sock, the foot size. What they never reference is the aperture that you put your foot into, right? That goes around the calf.
Yeah,
because that has a massive bearing. Too tight, and they're uncomfortable. Too loose, and you're forever pulling them up. So for me, that is an important metric. We need to know the circumference of the sock aperture.
So on that note, when I was going for some medical shit recently, you have to wear stockings.
Sexy.
I was like, what? She's like, yeah, you need to. Anyway, so she did measure my calves. I mean,
are you sure this wasn't just a nurse with a fetish?
Well, you never know.
Okay.
But yeah.
So what's those nurses with fetishes?
Yeah, well, I mean, can't really afford to turn that sort of thing down. But
were they black and lace?
No.
Okay.
Well, if only. Oh no, it was me wearing them. So Christ,
okay.
Nobody wants to see that. Anyway, right. Dear me. So anyway, yes. ill-fitting socks, David, we strongly agree that's the bane of society and needs to be addressed. Yeah, if there was more measurements, like they are all very generic, aren't they? Like you buy kids' socks and they're just sizes 3 to 6. Well, that's quite a range, isn't it? Like they're going to be wrong in most cases. So anyway.
Why can't you buy socks for your actual... I know that we're just going over old ground here, and I'm just going to ask this one question and then we can move on, because I don't think it was answered from the very first episode, and now we're on 25. And why can you not buy socks in your actual shoe size?
That's a good point, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, surely there's big enough... almost everybody will wear socks, so there's a huge market, right? So it's not
you can buy shoes in your actual size, can't you? So and shoes are a lot more expensive. So I don't get it to produce. It takes a lot more to produce a shoe or a trainer than it does to produce a sock. So why are there not socks available in specific sizes?
Very good point. And we
may have just given someone a genius idea for a business, and then in 5 years' time, when they're a billionaire, we'll be going, maybe we should have kept that to ourselves.
I don't know how to make socks. That's the problem.
Okay, so me neither.
Yeah, we're the ideas people.
Yes. If somebody wants to implement that, and maybe give us a discount when you do.
Sounds reasonable, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, 10% off a £5 pair of socks in return for a multi-billion-pound business idea. Seems fair.
Yeah. Okay. You had to be there. Right.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose we should move on to our main topic. So I wanted to start this off with a look at historical ages. Like there's through history there are sort of sections of time that are sort of define the era. That's something.
Periods.
Yeah, there you go. And so you got your classical. This is, I don't know exactly the time zones, the years.
Best not to get into that.
Yeah, I mean it's it's open to discussion, but then we're talking about the foundations of democracy and philosophy and science and Greece and Rome. There's a lot of this happened in Greece and Rome. I don't know why it happened in Greece and Rome, but that's
good weather.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe.
Too hot though, I reckon.
Okay.
For me anyway. But so there was the classical age. Then there was the Islamic golden age, apparently. This is from GPT, right? So, never know, right? But there were advances in mathematics and medicine, astronomy, and people, I guess, started to preserve knowledge by either writing it down somehow. Then you've got the Renaissance, and this is sort of art and science and humanism and critical thought in Europe, apparently. So, yeah. But, the Renaissance sounds good. A lot of good stuff going on. Then you've got this scientific revolution where empirical methods were devised and more on astronomy and physics and biology.
Einstein.
Yeah, all of that good stuff.
Jazz. Yeah.
Modern science, yeah. So, and then I don't know what this is exactly, but the Enlightenment with reason, secularism, individual rights. Okay, so now we're getting into, I suppose, early 1900s. Yeah. And then the industrial age, right, where everything is our age now or thereabouts. The rise of modern technology and mass production and all of that stuff. So all of that has led us to where we are. And all of those things, I feel like, sort of advanced civilization and,
yes.
And the way we think and the culture and, now that we have running water and toilets that flush and all of that good stuff, right? So, and internet and podcasts and whatnot. But I feel like we're entering a new age now. And this is what we're going to rage about. So this is the rage about the Age of Incompetence. And what do we mean by that? Well, this is the sort of, it feels to me like this is the age where people can't do anything. where thinking is a luxury and nobody can afford it. Imagination has been suffocated out of people, stifled, and skills, real skills, like being able to do stuff. I mean, I'm not even talking complicated stuff, even like changing a tire by the side of the road. It seems rare that people know how to do that. And what pisses me off is that they seem to celebrate their inability. They're proud of their uselessness. And, you know, like, yeah, I mean, you can understand not wanting to change a tire by the side of the road if it's pissing rain and windy and, you know, and it's, you know, it's dark and stuff like that, right? So you ring AA or whatever. But I feel like, I mean, I know people who don't know how to change a tire. And I feel like if you're going to drive a car, I think that's a basic
skill,
thing,
right? Isn't it? At some point if you're driving for 30, 40, 50 years, you're going to get a puncture at some point.
It's inevitable, right? So, you know, you'd be very lucky if you didn't. So yeah. But, you know, there's lots of other things like building an IKEA table or doing your actual job, right? Which leads me into my first example. So I mentioned a couple of episodes ago that I was trying to join a swimming pool in order to, you know, benefit my health. Now, I haven't actually been able to join yet. Reason being, whenever I can make it there, the youth on the till or the counter or whatever it is,
reception,
hasn't been able to make me a member. Reason given was he doesn't know how to do direct debits. And I'm thinking like, well, isn't that like a fundamental part of your job? Like people, you have to, it's very expensive to just go or ad hoc. So what they want is for you to join as a member, right? So you pay monthly, like a gym. There is a gym there as well. And, I mean, it's quite busy, the gym, and there's a pool there as well. I'm only interested in the pool part, right? But it's the same principle. So you join, and it's, you know, it's quite expensive for the year. So you pay monthly, right? So you do it by direct debit. And what I can't get my head around is that every time I've been there, the person on the counter doesn't know how to do that part.
Can we just break this down a minute? Because most gyms, I'm going to guess, I have no data to back this up, but I would have thought for them to be viable, they've got to have, say, 1,000 active members at any one time, right?
Yeah.
And every single one of them would have paid on a direct debit.
Right.
And that's a year, because there's churn, isn't there? So you're losing up and down, maybe half a year and you're replacing them half a year.
Yeah.
So every year you're processing 1,000 new members.
Yeah, at least, yeah.
Yeah, and they are all using direct debit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like being a taxi driver and not knowing how to drive, I'm guessing.
Yeah, or do the meter.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate, I can't take you anywhere because I
don't know how the meter works.
Yeah, it's like if you go to the pub and ask for a Coke with ice, and the fella's like, sorry, the fella with the recipe for ice died last week, so we haven't got any.
Or them just not understanding what a basic, like, can I have, I don't know, for the sake of argument, a gin and tonic? Like, well, what's tonic?
Well, yeah.
I mean, it's just so fundamental to the job that you're employed to do.
Yeah, yeah.
It beggars like belief that they can't do it.
Yeah. And, I mean, to make it worse, I've tried to ring or email, and the one person who knows how to do it is just never there when I can get
one person.
I mean, this is a hotel, actually. It's not that small. So I just can't get my head around. It feels like they don't want me to join. Like they're just making it as hard as possible. Maybe that's the plan, right? But I don't know.
I don't think it is. I think if you look at what that company is doing, they're probably spending huge amounts of money on marketing and advertising, promotion, rather than training their staff.
There you go, yeah. And I mean, so the kid, like, just to put this in context, when I was 14, I think I started work experience, but I kept going because they were paying me. And this was in a Greasy Spoon cafe, right? And then I worked somewhere else when I was about 15, and I carried on and worked somewhere else when I was 16. And by the time I was 17, I think I had my own cafe business type thing with my dad, but still I was doing the bulk of the work. And, you know, and very soon after that, I was kind of left in charge of a hotel. And, you know, I'm still not 18.
Wow.
And, you know, there were things to do that were, I suppose, new to me, like learn how to use remember those credit card where you put the card into
the swipe machines.
Yeah, and you go kadunk kadunk, and
you get it in like 5 different bits, don't you?
Yeah, and then we had to because it was an expensive hotel. You had to ring like Amex or Visa or whoever
for authorization.
Yeah. So it's much easier now. You just type things in. But
I forgot. Do you know what? I'd forgotten all about that. About actually, I worked in retail in the 80s, and ringing for a high ticket, and it wasn't only like £100 or something. I think from memory, it wasn't a huge amount. Having to ring a credit card company to get authorization.
Yeah, it was weird, wasn't it?
Jesus
and imagine
Christ.
being on the phone at the other end. That's all you do is. People shout numbers at you and you shout numbers back at them.
I don't ever remember, though, waiting on hold.
No, good point. That was, because, this was, it always happened, like the morning when everyone's checking out. And there'd be a few people milling around and waiting. So, you couldn't...
couldn't sit on hold for 20 minutes, could you?
Yeah, and you can't let them go until it's authorized.
Wow.
Yeah. But so they must have thousands of people back then. All gone now, of course. But anyway, so what was my point? Oh, yeah, the point was it surely isn't complicated to do this, right? To set up a direct debit. I don't know what is involved, but if that was my job, I feel like it would benefit me to spend, half an hour and learn how to fucking do that and then be able to do it when people want to join my pool, right? So it's simple stuff, right? If you're employed to do a job, shouldn't you be able to do it?
I'm going to go out on a limb and go, I think you probably should.
Yeah. No matter what your age is, and this kid was like, I don't know, 20 something probably.
Come on, that's not
seriously,
it's not 14, is it?
Yeah,
I mean,
if it was, my 9-year-old daughter, then I'd understand. Like, you don't know how to do it, okay? But come on, and this is, I suppose, the point we're trying to make is that it seems like nobody can be asked to learn skills. I mean, I don't know whether you say being able to do direct debit is a skill or not, but it's not just that one thing. It's the willingness to learn and develop and think and problem solve. All of these things I think are lacking, and this is the age of the incompetence, right?
Could you say that there are many reasons behind the actual incompetence? And I think there is laziness. There is just people can't be bothered. It's someone else's job.
Right.
I mean, it brings me to the example. I mean, I had to buy some new glasses recently, and that actually involved visiting a high street optician who I shall remain nameless.
Right.
But it actually took 4 visits. Which involves 4 trips into town, 4 trips to a car park, loads of parking tickets, 4 times I was exposed to other humans that I really didn't want to be exposed to. And
like that.
And 2 of the occasions were down to incompetency within the actual store itself. Just because someone didn't do what they were supposed to do. What they were paid at the end of every month, a chunk of money goes into their bank account. in the expectation that they provide a service to the employer.
Yeah.
And on 2 occasions, that didn't happen with me, and I had to make pointless trips into town because someone, and they don't care, right? You can say to them,
of course not.
This costs me money. I am self-employed. It's an hour of my day. It's the cost of parking, driving, all of it, right?
Yeah,
this is probably, every time I do this, it costs me probably 40 quid in real terms, right? And now I've done it twice. So that's 80 quid because you couldn't be bothered to do something that is fundamental to your job, like pick up a phone. I mean, it's just...
That would absolutely piss me off. Yeah.
And the thing is, you can't, what can you do in that situation? Because you can complain and they sort of stand there and like, oh, we're very sorry. Well, right. I don't give a fuck about your sorry, all right? It's meaningless now. Give me my money back. Give me my 80 quid back. Oh, we can't do that. Well, you're not sorry then, are you? Sorry implies that you want to put things right. Well, you're not, are you? You're just saying, suck it up.
Yeah, basically.
Getting angry now.
Well, middle-aged, but there's no accountability, is there? And this is the thing: is that they put these cannon fodder people out front, and I suppose the managers nowhere to be seen, right? So,
oh God, no.
It's pathetic, really. It's
or you got, actually, one of the instances was can you come back in half an hour when the manager's at lunch? I mean, seriously. So I had to wander around. This desolate town centre, just trying to kill time for the manager to come back from lunch because no one else in that store is capable of making a decision.
Yeah,
I mean, it was obvious what the problem was to an idiot. What the problem was, and I just said, I don't need the manager to look at it and go, problem. Right? You can. What had actually happened is the lenses hadn't been finished properly, so you could run your finger along the top, and you could feel they were jagged.
Oh, man.
Not like, So when you put them on, and you will know as a spectacle wearer that any type of light refraction that isn't...
no.
Do you know what I mean? So it catches the light. And so the top of the lens, every time you turn your head and there's sunlight or whatever, you can see it.
No, that's no good. Straight back in the...
And I said to this guy, run your finger along the top of the lens. And he goes, it does feel a bit rough. I said, well, there you are then, right? You don't need a manager to tell you that. Okay. You can see it. You can feel it, right? I'm telling you now. Yeah, but the manager needs to approve it. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that ties in really, I think, with the whole thing that just either they don't give a shit or they just don't know, or they don't want to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that would involve some level of culpability.
Yeah, well, responsibility and everything else. But that's how you get on. I mean,
called life.
Yeah.
You can't avoid responsibility.
Exactly.
Well, you can, I suppose, but it rarely ends well.
I mean, I suppose we should be grateful they bothered to get off their arse at all and aren't just claiming dole for being,
there is
sitting around playing Xbox all day. But
I'm not grateful at all. I just want them to do what hell they're...
Well, exactly. Just fucking do your job. And so anyway, people who I mean, we're mainly talking about young people, I suppose.
Do you think we should do a trigger warning at this point? Because I think this is going to be the most controversial thing we've ever discussed in the pod.
Could be now. Okay.
So this episode will sink or swim based on this section coming up now, because knowing our demographic, hopefully most people will get it. But I'm fairly sure there will be some amongst our listeners who are enraged that we're going here. But I think we should. Yeah. We've got to explore, expand.
They did it to us. It's, it's not our fault. I've seen this in we have a graduate program in my work, and so this is people who've done a degree supposedly in the area. I mean, I work in tech, right? So you'd think that somebody would have a computer science or whatever degree, but no, they just seem to come in on any old degree, right? But what I've noticed over the last, I don't know, I've been at my work for nearly 20 years, right? So over the last decade or more, the graduates that we get are
come on. Listen, we've opened Pandora's box now. We might as well give it a good shake.
So these are people who somehow managed to get a degree. I should say here, I don't have a degree, but I have, 4 decades of experience, something like that, instead. Which I feel is better, right? But people come in and they have a degree, and yet it feels like they can barely fucking tie their own shoelaces. They have no drive, no personality, no aptitude, no reason to exist. It feels like they expect, because they've got their certificate, it feels like they just expect to get a wage now for the rest of their life without actually doing
I'm going to countenance this to some degree just for a modicum of balance. And I think this is possibly the system, okay, which certainly in the UK since probably the late 90s, kids have been sold this thing that if you go to university and get a degree, and they've been encouraged by numerous governments to do this, like get a degree, that's right. You will only succeed in life if you get a degree, and it's sort of drummed into them. So if you go in and you do a degree and you basically amass 30 grand's worth of debt, right? And you come out the other end, you might well have some expectation that probably doesn't tie into actual reality, because you've been lied to, haven't you?
Basically, yeah. I mean, you're right. Yeah, it's people sort of telling you that you need to do this, you need to have this massive debt, and then you'll get a job. Well, tell you what, if there are any kids listening, not true, and you will not come out of it knowing anything at all. Right? I would say that you should expect to go into a job after getting a degree, right? Your first job after leaving whatever it is, that's when your education really starts. Right? 100%. Everything else before that was just, wankery. It's not real.
It's remembering information, isn't it? And theory, I suppose. Depending on what the degree is. If obviously you want to become a scientist, having a degree would be quite useful, I'm imagining.
I suppose.
Knowing there are basics you need to know in order to be a scientist, right? Okay, there's just no getting around that. But if you're doing a degree in, performing arts, or some of these more sort of
esoteric,
how's that helping you?
Well, even the ones I'm talking about have probably done something like business studies.
Okay.
And that, to me, I would think that if I was running that course, I would include some kind of module on business communication for a start, right? I would. You need to know how to communicate with your peers and colleagues and people you need to work with. And it seems like that's one of the biggest things that's lacking. Like, the people basically just can't communicate at all.
I get, if you think about it, who's teaching the course? A university lecturer, right?
Right.
So their job is university lecturer. If you're learning about business...
yeah.
I'm going to go out on a limb and go, you might be better off learning from someone who's actually built a successful business, maybe.
Yeah.
I would say that's probably a good start. We could go off on a complete tangent with that subject alone. Yes. But I'm not stressing that people who lecture in business are incompetent, but,
you got to take some responsibility, though. Well, exactly. There's that thing about
those who do, those who can't teach.
Yeah.
Any teachers listening now, and we know that there are a few.
Yeah.
Probably one starring us.
I mean, look, every case is different. I don't think you can't obviously apply that.
Actually, some people do enjoy teaching, and I'm going to go. It must be when it goes well. I mean, everyone remembers the teachers from school, good or bad,
the
right?
Good ones, yeah.
So to leave that kind of impression on someone that they will remember you for the rest of their life, hopefully in a positive sense, is that's incredible. But the system itself,
a good teacher is hard to come by, but a good teacher is worth their weight in gold, right?
Yeah.
So
just for the sake of clarity, we love teachers.
Yeah. It's the system that we hate.
Okay.
Right. So yeah. I don't know. These graduates that I've seen quite a few of them pass through, and then there's traits of inability to do anything, to want to do anything, and just this expectation that they're going to earn money no matter what. It's like probably going into the government, right? If you work for the government, you're sort of guaranteed a job and a pension and all of that crap, right?
Yeah.
And it probably means that you can't be asked to actually do anything, and hence it takes 5 weeks to get a passport or something, right?
Well, do you know what? That brings us nicely on. And this is, I think we are really going into controversial territory here, because we unearthed this morning some data and some information which ties in with the whole incompetency and our theory about graduates. Okay. And actually, again, this is not a dig at graduates. This is a dig at the system that churns out these kids ill prepared for the real world. Okay. So this is not a generational dig at graduates per se. It's the system that supposedly is being run by adults. That has basically just fed them into a mince. So back in 2020, so 5 years ago, for anyone who can't work out what 5 years ago is from 2025, it became, in the UK, a requirement. If to join the police force, you had to have a degree or be working towards having a degree.
Yeah. I didn't know this. This is news to me, right?
And this is hot off the press in Adam Eccles' world. So you're just digesting this, aren't you?
Yeah, and it feels like a strange requirement, to be PC Plod who just does traffic, and you need to have a degree. I mean, do they care what it's in?
I don't know. I didn't dig into it that much. Is there a degree in policing?
Crime,
I mean, is
or
crime
detecting or something like that? I mean, I'm sure there are various different sciences involved in police work, and good stuff for a lot of technical stuff, a lot of chemical biology, all kinds of stuff, right? Murder investigations and whatnot. I'm sure there's even criminal and law and all of that, right? But if you've got the performing arts degree and you're going to be stopping traffic, that seems a bit weird.
I thought, now this is, when you think about this, right, go back 30, 40 years. Now, not for 1 minute are we suggesting here that what we want is a police force that's full of misogynistic, middle-aged men with anger issues. All right, okay, we definitely don't want that. But what seems to have happened is right. Okay, you go back decades, and that was certainly the police force had this reputation, right, of being sexist and very heavily male orientated, and a lot too sexist. Right.
Yes.
So you can understand the powers that be going, right, we need to rein this in, because this is unappealing for any women that want to join the force, and probably for a lot of blokes who don't want to be, having this
arseholes,
morning, noon and night. Right, exactly. So you want to get rid of the arseholes. But as is often the case with government, rather than just going, right, we need to row this back slightly, gently, let's fucking tear it up and start again by saying the one way we can wheedle out these undesirables is to say they've got to have a degree, because that's like some sort of form of cultural cleansing in their view, I guess.
It's a bit tenuous, isn't it? I mean, just Is that going to... I think there are probably plenty of people with degrees who continue to be assholes.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's completely. I think the way that they see it is that you have kind of... And again, if you go through the university system in the UK, you probably come out of it with some method... There is some sort of subculture, some sub-thinking going on in the way that you think when you go through university. Do you know what I mean? What I'm saying here. Whereas if you took somebody at the age of 18, 2 kids, one went to university, one just went and worked in retail, for example, and spent 3 years dealing with humans and life and taxes and rent, right? As opposed to the one, and then fast forward to the one that comes out of university will have all of these wonderful ideas about how society should be fair and equitable and all these sorts of things. The one who's about 21 will look 31 and will have no time for any bullshit, right? Because they understand at that point how the world works.
Yes, very much so.
And they will understand the world is not perfect, and you've got to play the game as best you can, but you can't change the world. Best you can do is just try and make it work to your advantage, I guess.
Indeed. I mean, and to be honest, which one of those would you rather have as your copper?
That is a great question, actually. If you're in danger, right, you're at the end of a dark alley, right, and there's like 3 or 4, what would you call them? Sort of thugs. People coming towards thugs, yes, coming towards you with, lead piping or knives or lead piping. What the fuck are we playing Cluedo?
Yeah, it was Professor
a length of rope or a candlestick.
Yes,
if they're coming towards you, who do you want next to? Do you want some guy who's maybe served in the military for a few years? Or just who grew up on a council estate and therefore couldn't go to university, whatever, but is streetwise? Or do you want somebody who's 6 months out of university and was very good in the university debating tournaments or whatever it may be? Who do you want having your back in that scenario?
Exactly. Yeah. Remember the guy who took out a terrorist with a narwhal tusk? That's the guy I want.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Now, tied into this, I looked at some data over the last 5 years. Now, this may be coincidence. We're not implying anything. Okay.
Right.
But according to Ipsos Versity Index, the trust in the police in the UK has fallen over the last 5 years by 20%.
Wow, that's not good.
Okay, now maybe coincidence, and a further survey has revealed that 46% of Brits believe the police would not investigate a home burglary, and half of people in the UK doubt that the police would respond to a car theft.
I mean, I would agree, is that those sorts of things are too common and they just don't have the...
That is shocking, really, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, isn't that what they're supposed
So, incompetency, right?
Yeah. It's a bigger picture as well, is that, like, if a house burglary or a car burglary is just so commonplace and not worth investigating even vaguely, I suppose they'll send a form that you fill in and that's your insurance and job done.
Yeah, you get a crime number.
Yeah.
Job done.
So that's not, I mean, there's not going to be scores of coppers and helicopters and, all the rest of it going out there into the world and finding your stuff that was nicked. It's just, yeah.
I guess this ties into the whole ethos of this episode, because it starts off at the thin end, doesn't it? Where it's people in shops.
Right.
Suddenly, retail is no longer a profession. Okay, it's something that people do. Minimum wage. Companies cutting back, and rather than thinking how can we compete with the internet by offering good service, right? That would be a good place to start.
Right.
They think how can we make our shops as cheap to run as possible by understaffing them, paying kids on minimum wage. That's where it starts, and before you know it, it then leaks into everything. And there's always been a sort of a trope that, anything run by a government is going to be incompetent. But we have now gone to new levels where the actual police are considered so incompetent that half of people don't even bother reporting crime.
That's not a good situation to be in, is it? I mean, people are going to start being their own vigilantes or whatever, right? I mean, arming themselves and whatnot, but good grief.
And this annoys me on many levels. My daughter's car was vandalised last year twice within the space of a week. Still to this day, never seen a police officer.
Wow.
It's just, that's fundamental. 20, 30 years ago, we'd have had somebody would have come out, they'd have taken fingerprints, they'd have spoken to the neighbours, done some modicum of investigation. Now, not to say they would have found the person that did it, but you, as a victim, you feel reassured that at least they're trying, they're doing so, or they're at least gaining information that may be useful to other people who get, it's building a picture. It's doing the job that these people are employed to do. They are competent.
Exactly, yeah. And also, I thought that the UK is probably the most concentration of cameras in any country. So what's the point in all of these cameras then if when you have a problem, nothing happens?
No, exactly. Basically, the cameras there are a deterrent, or they were. But
not anymore,
if you're a criminal and you're thinking, well, even if I'm caught on camera, I'll probably be wearing a hoodie for starters.
Yeah.
But secondly, that footage will go to the police. It will go, well,
into a file, and
that's going to involve some effort. Can't be asked for that. Or it's not in my job description, or I don't know. I don't know how we've got here. Really, is what I'm saying. Is that it's just a depressing state of affairs where even the police, who we rely on, are now incompetent.
Yeah, it's not good. Not good. You might as well just ring Sting. It'll probably help you out.
I mean, you literally could ring anyone other than the police, because you might as well. You'll get the same result, which is nothing.
Yeah, a sad state of affairs. And again, just to be clear, there are probably people who do go out of their way to do a good job, and and fair play to them. It's just that the system is so broken that it seems like nobody cares. So. Not good.
No.
Good.
There we go.
And I mean, I don't know how we get back to an era where people are proud of what they do and care about their jobs and actually develop skills and, are able to put together an IKEA table and change the wheel on their car or whatever, right? But these things, I suppose, go in cycles. Maybe the next generation will be sick to death of having to ring the AA or something, and they'll go, oh, maybe I can actually change it myself.
Maybe. I think because of the rapid evolution of AI and the like, all of the stuff that we doing stuff online won't be a thing anymore, right? Because you'll have an AI agent that'll do all that crap for you.
Yes, right.
Rather than you having to respond to an email, it'll deal with it, or book an optician's appointment. It'll just do all your shit. But the one thing it won't be able to do is change a tire or mow your lawn or fix a leaky tap or the real world stuff. So maybe you're right. Maybe we will come full circle, and all of the stuff that was considered important 5 years ago, internet marketing and, social media and all this sort of stuff that people have obsessed about will suddenly become uninteresting because it won't need to be done anymore.
Right. Yeah. If you want, there'll probably be AI generated TikTok girls dancing. So the girls actually won't have to do it. They just,
or people will just get bored of it. Do you not think it's?
Oh yeah. It seems like a strange era to be in, but yeah.
Well, the one thing that will not be AI will not be able to replace is two middle-aged guys moaning about shit.
No, probably not. Right. On that note, as we have gone a bit long again, we ought to move on, I suppose. So yeah, I would just say that rather than continuing to evolve, like evolution doesn't stop, right? It carries on, and people think, we turned into humans from monkeys, and that's that. No, evolution keeps going all the time, right? It takes millions of years, but it keeps going. So, but at the moment, it feels like that instead of evolution, we've gone into an era of devolution. We're losing skills and knowledge, so not good.
No.
Right.
God, that was a depressing end to that segment, wasn't it?
It was.
Oh, bring on the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
Actually, even the zombies, I mean, they wouldn't be competent, would they?
No. They'd
just be wandering around eating each other, rather.
Yeah, just like zombies, easy to outrun, easy to get rid of.
Yeah. And particularly if you get half-assed, can't be bothered type zombies, how far are they going to chase you with their groaning and their moaning? Like, I can't be bothered.
Forget it.
Oh, Steve, will you go and chase this human? I just, honestly, it's not within my job description, to run. Okay, I was told zombieing would involve wandering around with my arms outstretched, chomping on brains. Yeah. This is not what I was signed up for.
No. Fuck this, I'm going like sick day. play
I've got stress. Sign me off for 6 weeks.
Yeah. Oh, well. Let's move on to happy endings. What's happy for you?
Okay, so last Sunday, I will keep this brief because I know that there are not football fans amongst you, but my football team, Aldershot Town, who are 99, have been in existence in one way, shape or form for 99 years, finally reached a final. They finally got to play a game of football at the home of English football, Wembley Stadium.
Wow.
So last Sunday...
Kept at it.
Yes, every year there's an opportunity to enter competitions where you will get to a final at Wembley, and we eventually got there. So,
very good.
Myself, 2 of my brothers, and 2 of my nephews, we went to London and started drinking early, and I subsequently discovered that day drinking is not for me anymore. 10-hour binge was fantastic. I mean, it was a beautiful day. The weather, it was just that right sort of 23 degrees, sunny but a nice breeze, so weather was perfect. Atmosphere was incredible. We won the game 3-0, cracking goal in the last minute. It had everything that you would want for a perfect day. It was just amazing. So that was the happiest possible endings. Subsequently, it has not been so happy because of my age and drinking 10 pints of lager. I've ruined myself for 5 days. So that's not such a happy ending. But the day itself, I could say if I could do it all over again, would I? And I probably would do it again. That's how good it was, even taking into account feeling like crap for most of the week.
Fair enough. So just to clarify, it's not the same players for 99 years.
No.
Okay. They got new ones. Okay.
They do replenish, I mean, that would be, I'm not sure how many of that would...
running up and down.
They're literally wheeling them on in wheelchairs, aren't they? Or Zimmer frames. Yeah.
Well, you never know. Fair enough. Okay. No, well, excellent. A nice day out.
It was a wonderful day out, and the happiest of endings. So, have you been to see any football?
No.
Okay.
No, never in my life, and I wouldn't even know what I was looking at. But no. What made me happy is the other day. This doesn't happen very often. I don't know what that says about me, but it doesn't happen very often. Is that a reader will read a book and go out of their way to tell me that they enjoyed it. And that happened the other day. Chap called John, big fan, very sound fella. We met him maybe twice, can't remember. Once for sure at our author thingy. Lovely fella. And he read one of my older books. I think it was Time for a Change, probably was that one. And he loved it. So he just went out of his way and told me on X and even left me a tip. So fair play to you. But it was just, I woke up and logged on and looked at all the dross that typically appears on socials. And it was just nice to see somebody telling me that they really loved my book and it made them happy and laugh and whatever, right? So just, makes your day. And people think that we're, I suppose, just immune to it or something. But, if someone sends a bad review, I don't even bother reading it, right? It's fuck off. But it's nice to get to be appreciated, I suppose I'd say.
I also think from a karma perspective as well, if you go out of your way, and I will do the same, whether it be a company, if I've gone into a shop or whatever and I've had a good experience, I will email them. In fact, I did have one recently. Shout out to Richer Sounds, the TV hi-fi audio people, who were fantastic. I mean, we had a gripe about poor service was it the last episode?
A couple of months ago,
and they were fantastic. And I actually tweeted, and I sent them a message on X saying, "Wow, I was really impressed," because I was genuinely. And you think that will feed back to the guy in the store, right? And he will say, "Oh, this guy was on X and said he did a brilliant job," and you think, "Well, it's going to give him a bit of a lift, right?" So I think It doesn't matter if it's somebody writing a book, but just pass it on because. There's a lot of jobs, right? Not ours necessarily, but where you're just grinding out the days, right?
Yeah.
And just a little bit of appreciation, I think, goes a very long way.
Yeah, exactly. People probably think we're miserable fucks. That's why we have a podcast to be miserable on, right? But it does go the other way. If we get something good, then I always make a point of go out of the way and tell them that this was good. Feedback doesn't always have to be bad. It can be good as well. Yeah, somebody gave you good service, or a product was really good, or whatever it was, right? Just take the 2 minutes, if that, and just ping them and say, "Hey, thank you for whatever you did. It was cool."
I will say though, if I go into a restaurant or something and someone specifically asks me to leave them a positive review,
no,
you're not having that.
Yeah, then it becomes a fake thing, doesn't it? It's all
they do. That that they do. If it's because it's generally the company wants. Yeah. They say go onto Google and leave a 5-star review. You'll be doing me a massive favor.
Yeah.
And so they know that basically the company, that person could be fired the next day for some tenuous reason or laid off, but the company still retains the 5-star review. For the effort that the individuals put in. So no, bollocks to that.
Bollocks to that. No. Yeah, that's not nice. There's always some fecker who will break everything and take a nice thing and
ruin it because they'll commercialise it and go, do you realise if we get loads of reviews on such and such a site and it's but then you end up with loads of money. Yeah, that we're left in good faith based on some person rather than.
Exactly. Then
the company could be utterly shit, but if one person makes an effort, then fair play to that one person.
Then there you go.
So if you leave a review for us, basically that will get back to Adam and I. There's no one else.
No, there's nobody else. Yeah, there's nobody else. So
maybe in 10 years, right? When we're basically you're listening to AI generated copies of our voices, and we're lying on a beach somewhere, not together, obviously.
That would be weird.
Then you can complain. But until that point, it's just Adam and I.
Yeah, there are AI bots where you can train them to be your voice.
Wouldn't have your thoughts though, would they?
No,
they wouldn't be able to reach those dark places.
That's it. Yes. No. We'll be keeping our jobs because there's no AI bot that can go as deep as we do. But there you go.
Or would want to.
No, scary stuff. They're all censored as well, aren't they? So you can't.
Yeah, they're not going to be dropping a C-bomb.
Probably not. Okay. On that note, if you want to say hello on the socials, and don't forget to go to middlerage.uk listener-feedback, and that's where you can drop your survey. Speaking of surveys, right? Leave your review, or just tell us what you think, or what you don't like, or what you do like, or where you think the pod should go. Actually, somebody had said that they'd like to suggest topics. And honestly, there's no reason why you couldn't do that. I don't believe it. It's just that we have the contact form. I suppose that's
the infamous contact form.
Yeah, which is utterly loaded with spam. But if you want to use that, or just drop it into social.
Do you know the best way to do it, right? Is just go on X or Facebook.
Yeah.
Because we see that way more frequently than we see emails. Because Adam and I both suffer from email fatigue.
Yeah.
So if you're sending emails to us, in fact, I must apologise because I didn't check the inbox for actually, I forgot it existed, that there was an actual email address attached to the domain. And I went and had a look yesterday or the day before, and there was, a few emails in there. So apologies to anyone who had sent. Right. There was only a couple, but
okay.
So don't send us emails. Just use the form on the website, or better still, go on X or Facebook and just tell us what you need, what you want to know.
Yeah. So if there's a theme you'd like us to explore, we're open to suggestions. If it's worth our investment.
Yeah.
So, yeah, go ahead and do that.
And talking of investments, buymeacoffee.com/middlerage. Buy us a coffee. There you go.
Yeah, why not?
It's an investment.
Keep the lights on for another couple of months.
Yeah, it's probably a better investment than Bitcoin.
Oh, big time, yeah. Or, or
any other cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Good.
So you can follow on your podcast player of choice. Make sure you follow or subscribe or whatever the button says, and that way you'll get the pod as soon as it's released, instead of having to remember and go and get it. And as I said before, it's also on YouTube if for some reason you prefer doing it that way. I've seen quite a few more downloads on YouTube, not huge amounts, but a couple. So maybe people are doing it that way. But it's on, I don't know, search for Middle Rage or search for Keith's feed on YouTube.
Excellent.
I think that's everything.
I think we should go.
Yeah. Okay. Bye-bye.